Hey guys, what's going on? Theron Shan. Um, Hopefully you watched the first video that I did on this game called Bio Inc. Redemption. I had mentioned before in my previous video that I think that this is a really good basis for the medical gameplay that we're hoping to get in Star Citizen. One of the things that I like about this game, the way it's set up, is there's the potential for failure in this game. And if you are not doing things the correct way, if you are not taking the time to understand how these systems work, interdependent of each other, you are going to, potentially harm your patient. Okay, I can't get that to work. So one of the things I wanted to go through is to show how I think there could be some deep gameplay here. So you can see my patient. You can see his lungs. They're actually looking pretty bad. I'm gonna collect some of these bio points. If you're unaware of how this game works, you need to collect these points in game in order for you to actually do different treatments and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over. One of the things I had mentioned in the previous video was that if you don't take the time to understand anything about this medical system, you could actually do more harm to the patient than good. This game doesn't model that very well, but I kind of wanted to just kind of run through it a little bit to show what some of the possibilities are. So I know right now, because we've played the first part of this tutorial and I've already cured one of this patient's diseases, I know that the patient has a respiratory issue. However, as we look, I can see that, his respiratory system is at 70%, his muscular system is at 87, his immune is at 91, but everything else is at 100. Cardiovascular or circulatory, digestive, renal, skeletal, and then nervous system. But let's just say I really haven't been paying much attention to this system, and I'm literally just going to start throwing the kitchen sink at this patient in the hopes of trying to help them. So I go around, I look, I start looking, mousing over various things, and okay, this patient has a urinary tract infection, kidney infection, and sepsis. He also has a salmonella, Crohn's disease, ugh, necrotizing fasciitis, that's bad, leukemia, lupus, and sarcoidosis. This guy's in a bad way. Well, I forgot about kidney cysts. We're gonna treat this one. This one has the most stuff, so we're gonna treat this guy right here. So we're gonna do. Let's do a renal system MRI. We're gonna do that, and we're also going to do an infectious disease blood panel. Why not? This guy probably actually does have something going on there. But as a player, if you're not 100% sure, you may skip this. Right now, this patient has the flu. So, and so let's go back for a second. We're gonna go back. He has a flu here, and he also has bronchitis here. Well, both of these can be looked at with a stethoscopic exam. Let's go over here. Again, I have to be careful about what you do as a player in the game. If you only have a tier 3 medical bed, you might only be able to run one diagnostic test at a time. A tier with a tier 3 medical bed. With a tier 1 medical bed, maybe you can run 5 tests at a time. But you may need to make decisions about what tests you run and when you run them based upon that. Okay, I ran almost every test in the book. Everyone came back negative. That didn't help me at all. I wasted that time. Meanwhile, while I'm doing that, my patient is progressively getting worse. His respiratory system was at 69.1, and it's dropping. I'm already at 68.5, and dropping. So it's really important that as a player, you take the time, and you could actually, it's really cool because you can see on his muscular system, it's starting to, I don't know if that's necrosis, I don't know what that is, but it's not looking good, that's for sure. And you can see the patient starting to get worse and worse. And what you will actually see as the patient gets worse is you'll see his respiration start to increase, so the patient will start breathing heavier and faster. You can see here that the patient's respiratory system is looking really not that great. So let's take a look. Let's go into the biomap, and let's take a look at what we've got here. So I'm not sure if rest is the best thing for this patient. There has to be something better than rest. So let's go back to cough. We're going to run a stethoscopic exam. It will test for bronchitis and flu. So let's jump out. Turns out my patient tested for bronchitis. But you can see that was a really simple exam that if I didn't do that, it would have been very easy for him to miss that, and my patient would have continued to decline. So I think this game is really cool. I said it in the previous video that it would be really, really cool if you could go in and do surgery on your patient. I don't know if CIG wants to go that deep into it, but this may also be part of the gameplay where you can put artificial limbs and cybernetic implants into a patient. You may have to do that. You may have to go into surgery for the patient and perform, remove this arm and do surgery. And I don't know how in-depth CIG wants to get into that. But again, I know some players may look at this and say, well, that's silly. There's no need for CIG to create a whole nother game around this game. But when my answer to that is CIG brought somebody in to create an entire language. They created an entire Xi'an language from nothing because it makes the game more immersive and it's going to make the game more enjoyable. They didn't have to do that. But you are going to go around looking in the game for players who are the best in the game at being able to keep other players alive. So now the one thing that I do worry about in this is, here's the issue. When a player lays on the bed and I'm going through my little surgery here and I've been here for almost 10 minutes, what's the experience for the player? And I think that's something CIG is going to have to try and work out. No player is going to want to sit inactive for 2 minutes, let alone 10, 15 minutes, as long as it takes to fully heal this player. And it could take, depending on all the things that are wrong with this player, or with the character, it could be an NPC or a PC, it could take upwards of 10, 15 minutes to completely fix the character. So I think CIG is going to have to think long and hard. If anybody in the community has any ideas of how that should be handled, I would encourage comments in the thread section, because that's something that's going to have to be figured out. And I'm sure CIG is working on that, but there's no reason why we can't, as a community, put our heads together and theory craft that a little bit. So again, this is Theron Shan. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it didn't run on too long, but I wanted to be kind of comprehensive about it. And I think this is a pretty cool game. I hope CIG does something similar to this. I will see you guys in the verse. You guys take care.